2020 Mercedes AMG CLA 45, first drive whoosh, bang, bang. Let's say you've got $75,000 to spend, an open mind and find yourself in the AMG section of your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Just go with it? The obvious answer is a well-equipped AMG C63. It has a twin-turbo V8, it's rear-drive based and looks at home pulling up to restaurants and the racetrack alike. Be it the sedan or coupe, it doesn't really matter. But over there, probably hidden behind a GLS 63, sits something a bit different, the 2020 Mercedes AMG CLA 45. It's the savage, top-tier version of the entry-level Mercedes that's equal parts sedan and coupe. Remember the CLA 45 AMG? Remember thinking that Mercedes was off its rocker for offering a 355 horsepower four-cylinder? Prepare your eyeballs, because AMG has found more power. New and now built by hand like higher-end AMG engines, this 2.0-liter turbocharged inline-four manages 382 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. That's obviously encroaching on 200 HP per liter, but in Europe, the CLA 45S version actually surpasses the mark with 416 HP. That makes it sound like we're getting shortchanged here, which we are, but 382 horses from such a tiny package is still plenty bonkers. The sheer hilarity of such a power figure out of a 2.0-liter is enough to intrigue, but remember, this is still a CLA. Conventional wisdom says it's supposed to be hamstrung by a front-wheel drive platform and the reputation of being the cheap poser's Mercedes. And while it's fair to assume a model's reputation will mean a great deal to some potential luxury car buyers, it shouldn't matter one iota once you get behind the steering wheel. Mercedes has gone to great effort to make the CLA 45 feel much less like a front-drive-based AWD car, and more like a rear-drive-based AWD car. Take the silly drift mode. Once you hop through some electronic hoops, the CLA 45 will spin around in perfect circles until you run out of rubber or get bored. It's really quite something. Calling it donut mode would be just as accurate. This car's tendency to get a little sideways doesn't start and end there, either. Crank the mode dial up to sport and/or race, turn traction control off, and apply power. The CLA 45 wags its tail exiting corners and oversteers without trying too hard. It's a seriously pleasant surprise given the CLA's front drive underpinnings. Thank the 4MATIC and all-wheel drive system with AMG torque control. Power can be completely variably distributed between the front and rear wheels, says Mercedes, which allows all the power to be locked to the rear wheels. But there's more to it. The new rear axle differential has two electronically controlled multi-disc clutches, and each is connected to a rear axle drive shaft. This allows Mercedes to distribute that power in a completely variable fashion to either rear wheel. In drift mode, the car is able to send power to the outside rear wheel and prepare the ESC for desirable drift characteristics. That gets the CLA spinning instantly and allows it to go on with such little effort from the driver. The experience is different than, say, a Miata or Camaro. More of a, hey, you're along for the ride, here we go type of feeling than you actively correcting the throttle and steering wheel to maintain perfect circular motion. Of course, the 382 HP is the real headline here, backed up by a red line that goes all the way up to 7,200 RPM. If going fast in a straight line is more your thing, this little sedan will get to 60 miles per hour in just 4.0 seconds before topping out at an electronically limited 155 miles per hour. The AMG driver's package increases that top speed to 168 miles per hour. The sprint to 60 miles per hour is only 0.1 second behind a C63 and just 0.2 seconds behind the C63S sedan. Assuming you use the violently good race start launch control feature, it's going to hit the mark every time, too. Mercedes is kind enough to put a 0 to 60 miles per hour timer within the infotainment system, and although not equivalent to a proper instrumented test, the best we managed was 3.84 seconds. It would consistently crack off sub 4 second 0 to 60 miles per hour runs without breaking a sweat in the early summer heat. Speaking of which, there's no lack of heat generated by the new M139 engine. Compared to the CLA 35, the engine is rotated 180 degrees. Mercedes claims improved air ducting from this move, with shorter distances and fewer diversions on both the intake and exhaust side. Turbocharger technology is also borrowed from the AMG GT. There's a new two-stage high-performance intercooler, and AMG engineered a new state-of-the-art cooling system that can cool the cylinder head and crankcase to different temperatures. All of this is good since Mercedes says charge pressure peaks at 2.1 bar, or 30.5 psi. That could be shocking, but given the power figure, one would expect this engine to basically be a turbocharger with a block and head hanging off of it. Not much happens right away when the throttle is depressed, sans launch control from a standstill. The revs rise to about 3000 RPM and chill there for a quick second. Then, it's party time. Bang, bang, bang. Were those gunshots? Nope, it's just AMG being AMG. Two hasty shifts happen before the car reaches 60 miles per hour in a chorus of whooshes and pops. The 8-speed dual-clutch transmission is masterful. Shifts are instant and hit with authority when accelerating hard, pointedly kicking us in the back. Pull the big, metal flappy paddle higher up in the rev range, and each shift is accompanied by a detonation. If the goal was to be heard anywhere and everywhere, the CLA 45 earns an A+. The engine and exhaust note plays an aggressive song out of its decorative quad-tipped exit. Some actually assumed there was a V8 under the hood, but the C63's actual 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 rumble still gets the nod for noise.